All in a Doctor's Day, a collection of short medical stories by Peter Sykes, narrated by John Delino Ziegler, Jr. Despair. Utterly dejected, I collapsed into the dilapidated armchair in the corner of the room, my head in my hands, tears in my eyes, my confidence shattered. I was distraught, my mood one of total wretchedness and despair. I was sweating and felt faint, my mouth was dry, and my hands trembled. It was 4 in the morning, and it was the event of those 4 hours, events for which I have been wholly responsible, that were the cause of my distress. What had happened had been a nightmare, an utter and complete disaster. I had been the leader of the team, the one everyone respected, the one to whom they turned for guidance, the one supposed to be in control and able to cope in difficult situations. But the night's events had shown me to have been a total failure. I was ashamed. I had let myself down, had let the team down, and, still lying on the operating table in the adjacent theater, drained of his life-giving blood, was the man who paid the ultimate price for my incompetence. Now, the nurses were washing the blood from his lifeless body in preparation for its short journey to the hospital morgue. Later, they would clean the operating table, scrub the floor, and sterilize the surgical instruments in preparation for the next day's list. By morning, the theater would again be spotless, all evidence of the disaster that had unfolded in the night erased. If only they could wash away my shame, my pain, and my guilt as easily. During my surgical training, I had grown accustomed to the occasional disappointment. There had been lows in my life before, times when patients had developed complications from treatments I had initiated. Such things were inevitable for anyone who chose medicine as a career, but I had never experienced anything as terrible as this. If only the ground would open up and swallow me. I glanced around the room, my eyes vaguely noting the jumble of discarded caps, masks, vests, and pants left behind by the rest of the team as, one by one, they had drifted wearily to their beds, leaving me alone with my misery. Loyally, they had muttered words of sympathy, insisting that I should not blame myself. But their words brought no comfort. I did blame myself. Who else was there to blame? My eyes settled on the laundry skip in the corner of the room. A loose fold of a gown, heavily stained with blood, hung at an odd angle over the metal ring that formed its lip. A crimson pool was forming where blood was dripping onto the floor. It brought to mind an image that had haunted me as a child. Whilst on a family holiday, I had seen hundreds of dead pheasants, their bloodied heads hanging limply, at grotesque angles over the side of a trailer, leaving a trail of blood on the rutted earth as they passed. The sight of their ruffled feathers and shattered bodies had sickened me. Walking alongside were half a dozen men, laughing and joking as they drank beer, their guns over the shoulders. Only a few hours before, we had fed the pheasants by hand as they roamed freely through our campsite. They had strutted proudly, bright-eyed, their heads held high, showing off the brilliant colors of their beautiful plumage, iridescent reds, brilliant greens, and blues. I suffered nightmares for weeks afterwards. I looked again at the crumpled, blood-stained gown. Poor Mr. Wilson had died just as needlessly as those birds, and in my heart I knew that I was responsible. There was a quiet knock at the door, and the theater sister entered, a mug of tea in her hand. "It's been a long night, Doctor," she said, a sad, sympathetic smile on her face. "Here, have a drink before you leave." I mumbled my thanks, head bowed, not trusting myself to look her in the eye. "Look, you mustn't blame yourself. We must accept that from time to time these things happen. Not all operations are successful. If all your patients made a full recovery, you wouldn't be human. You'd be a miracle worker. Besides, when a major blood vessel bursts, there's
Sample complete. Ready to continue?